What's up guys? I'm back to give another tutorial, out of popular demand of course, on the VR game Help Wanted. Today we're going to go over everything you need to know on how to beat FNAF 2. So, just like last time, I'm going to be going over how every night should start, a rundown of all the animatronics, and of course what using all of the methods should look like while playing a difficult level. Unlike FNAF 1, FNAF 2 is less complex in terms of specific methods for specific characters. However, it's 3 times more chaotic and definitely a more difficult game. So with the intro out of the way, let's begin. When starting out in the office, it is optional to turn off the phone by pressing the red button. The fan also has buttons that make noise, but don't turn off the fan. This kinda sucks, as it was a fairly practical mechanic to use in the first game. It's a good idea to keep your monitor on cam 11 to fend off the puppet. Unlike FNAF 1, you don't really have any reason to deviate from one cam. And trust me, you won't even have the time to do it later on, so just keep it as it is. If you want to see other parts of the restaurant, you might have noticed that it's all dark. This is because you need to press the big light button before you can see anything. Lastly, you have a Freddy mask located on your left that you could put on your face to disguise yourself from animatronics. Alright, now to give a rundown on the animatronics. I'll be explaining in order of title/function. First the toy animatronics and their different positions, then the withered animatronics and their different positions. Even though the game introduces you to them in a more scrambled way, I just find this order to be easier for the video. The first category I'll discuss is the left vent, which involves Toy Chica and Balloon Boy. Toy Chica will approach your office from cam 7 to cam 4 to cam 1 and then through your left vent, making footstep noises each time she moves. Make sure to shine your left vent light often to see if she is there. When she is there, you need to quickly take the Freddy mask and slap it onto your face. This will cause her to come out and stand in the middle of your office for a few seconds before disappearing all the way back to her starting position. Now, there are quite a few animatronics in FNAF 2, and 80% of them require this exact same defense method, so don't get too panicked about memorization. Next is Balloon Boy. Balloon Boy laughs every time he moves, and when he's in your left vent, he makes a noticeably louder laugh, preparing you for the next loud laugh that tells you that he has progressed to your office. Upon shining your left vent light to find him there, you simply need to put your mask on, and he'll quickly hop out and run away. In fact, you only really have to put on the mask for like a millisecond, as taking it off immediately after doesn't cause him to actually come back. And even if you did somehow accidentally let him into your office, he doesn't really kill you directly. Instead, he simply takes away the ability to use any of the office lights, which is practically a death sentence as one of the characters is fended off using these lights. But we'll get to him later. Now we'll shift our attention to the right vent, which involves Toy Bonnie and Mangle. Toy Bonnie, to keep it short, is literally the same as Toy Chica in almost every way. He moves from cam 7 to cam 4 to cam 3 to cam 2 and then through your right vent, making footstep noises every move. Just flash the right vent often, and when you see him there, you put on the Freddy mask until he leaves. Mangle isn't too different. She starts from cam 12 and then moves through 11, 10, 7, 1, 2, and then through your right vent. You can tell when she moves by an audible metal clanking noise. Again, just keep flashing the vent, and if you see her there, then put on the mask until she's gone. I don't know if this is worth mentioning, but whenever she's near my office, the lights seem to be considerably more broken. Like, pressing them doesn't do anything sometimes, and it's only when she's around in my experience. I really don't know. But let's move on to the hallway. The hallway is used by Toy Freddy, the puppet, and Mangle. Mangle? But I thought she uses the right vent. Well, she uses both. So let me get that out of the way. Sometimes Mangle will appear in your right vent, and sometimes she'll appear in the hallway. The only difference is that when she's in the hallway, you have to wait for her to start climbing into your office before putting on the mask. Another thing I should probably mention is that sometimes you'll catch Toy Bonnie or Toy Chica crossing from room to room. This won't result in a hallway attack from either of them, it's just a cool detail from the creators. With those notes out of the way, let's move on to Toy Freddy. Toy Freddy takes a pit stop at Cam 10 before darting all the way toward your office, so you should be frequently checking the hallway light to see if he's coming. When he appears, he'll stand before the door frame for a while, and when he begins his attack, you'll see him stepping into your office. When you see this happening, you need to immediately put on the Freddy mask before he fully enters. If your hallway light is off when he begins advancing into the room, you'll still be able to see a pair of moving white dots that appear on his eyes strictly when he's attacking you. Simply put on the mask and wait for him to go away. The puppet is a different entity altogether. For one, wearing the mask doesn't stop her from killing you. In fact, nothing can stop her when she begins her attack. She resides in cam 11 inside the giant gift box. While your monitor is on this cam, you can see a white circle on the bottom right hand corner. Along the night, this circle will slowly deplete, and if it ever disappears completely, then a Jack in the Box song will begin playing, and she will start to slowly float down your hallway before killing you. You can regenerate the circle by holding down the big button with the music symbol on it. The more you progress into the nights, the faster and faster the circle depletes. So you should generally keep your monitor on cam 11 and constantly be holding that music button down, even when you're not looking. Finally, we are left with fending off the Withered animatronics, all of which come in through the hallway. Kind of. Withered Foxy is the first one you'd see, as he's the only Withered animatronic that actually appears before the final night. When he appears in your hallway, you'll hear the classic FNAF stinger. This is a sign that he's ready to attack you, and he inches closer and closer to your office before doing so. To fend him off, you must flash the hallway light on him enough times. If you are too preoccupied by other animatronics or you somehow let Balloon Boy in, then you will most likely die by him. Whenever I see him in the hallway, I just take a couple seconds to spam the hallway light for a while, because generally 3 or 4 flashes on him will do just fine. Withered Freddy is basically just another Toy Freddy. He leaves his spot to come straight to your doorway, he waits a while before letting himself in, and you simply must slip on the mask before he can fully enter. Then, once he leaves, you can presume. Another note I'd like to add regarding a coincidental error with a character's presence is that sometimes Withered Freddy will just kill me out of nowhere. I can't tell if somehow he might have a different attacking method like Mangle or something, but it seems to me that sometimes Rose attacks are just straight up invisible. Moving on to Withered Bonnie. Withered Bonnie approaches you at your hallway, but disappears presumably into your left vent. He won't appear in the visual opening of the vent, but in a while he will reappear into your office to kill you. You can tell when he will reappear by the lights flickering and by hearing a weird fuzzy noise begin to play. This is a sign to immediately put on your Freddy mask, as the Withered animatronic's grace period is very slim. Lastly, we have Withered Chica. She functions the same as Withered Bonnie, except she enters through the right vent and also doesn't appear in the hallway. There is literally no heads up on when she is approaching your office besides the flickering lights and fuzzy audio that happens seconds before her attack. She might appear on the cams, but at that point, you really don't have time to be doing that. With her, you really just have to be quick with the mask. Personally, I believe that these Withered animatronics do have flaws, and it would make sense. They were added to the game after it got released, and something about all the leftover buttons that do absolutely nothing in this game anymore tells me that the devs don't really care all that much about coming back to polish the game. So if you really want, there's no shame in setting their difficulty on easy.
Coward.
Okay, now that you know everything there is to know, let's see how a difficult night should look while playing. I begin my night by turning off the phone and switching the monitor to cam 11. Then I begin my cycle of scanning the office. The way I do this is I hold my right hand on the music button to keep away the puppet, and then I switch through all 3 lights constantly. And when hitting the right vent light, instead of reaching my left arm over my right, I simply move my right hand from the music button to the vent light and then back to the music button. I basically keep doing this until something disrupts me and I have to put on my mask. The game is all a simple rhythm, but just really chaotic and intense to play. Like I said, some things you can't even avoid, like being too occupied to deal with Foxy or Withered Freddy deciding that you don't get to win that round for some reason. But all in all, I hope this tutorial was helpful. Again, you can ask questions in the comments or just bring more details about the game to my attention so that I can update the description. Please give the video a like if you want to see more. I know tutorials on this game have been around for eons, but I love FNAF and I also don't think that there are any tutorials that sum it up like I do. My next video will probably be on FNAF 3, but until then, Stay bombo collectomized.